fine and beautiful Monday.
Mm-hmm.
It is the In the Know podcast.
Yes.
See the shirt, see the shirt. We came as twins today. It won't happen like this again though.
Yeah, it happened. We ain't even rehearsing. If we would rehearse, we came up with different colors.
But
Yeah,
it's all good.
all good. Oh, for sure.
But I'm T the Chef. My right hand man, Jaycutta.
What's up?
And we are here today to discuss something that's been floating around. People got all those different versions of it, but masculinity. And the art, not only the art of masculinity, but how is it being challenged, and also this new term that got toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just redefining what it means to be a man in this society now. Because we can't revert back to what it was then.
Right.
Because we know times have changed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But when I think about man, that masculine things, I think about men who are the protector. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That when that masculinity shows up, especially women can feel safe in it because it's not going to do anything to harm them.
Mm-hmm.
Or that masculinity in showing, young men, how to provide and protect and do what's necessary to take care of your families.
Mm-hmm.
That to me, when I hear masculinity, is still opening the doors for not just your lady, that your lady, you see a lady walking, you open the door for her. That type of thing. You still, no matter how old you get, you still say, yes, man. Man, yes, sir, no, sir. Masculinity can be defined in so many different ways depending on who you're talking to. But I really don't think it can be defined, it can't be defined by people who ain't lived it. You get what I'm saying? You can give me your idea of it,
Right.
but to try to tell me what it is gonna be kind of hard because we live it day to day.
Yeah.
And we see, the input of our fathers or our grandfathers or our uncles had in how we grew up and how we are, at this very moment. So when other people try to put they spin on what it is, okay, I can see maybe your definition from where you stand from, but to guys, what is it? What is that? What is being masculine defined as, or being a man defined as?
Yeah. It's different. It's changed since the let's just call it what it is. The women's movement changed a lot of that, and it changed it from a perspective that could be healthy, but it turned out to be not healthy because, like, say for instance, you're talking about old school type stuff, and so some people may take the front in the relationships, being that protector, that guide, that different thing. See, the problem came in and you couldn't be that role anymore because you don't have the same audience. So your household is not what it used to be. So you don't have the same audience at home to where you could be on that platform that you need to be on to teach and, you know what I mean, kind of really be in a manly role for the house, whether it's a husband, father, you know what I'm saying, whatever the case may be. A lot of those roles have been stripped from us because it's been felt like it's not necessary for us to fulfill them. But see, as much as that wrinkles us up, we got to look at how many of us aren't fulfilling the roles knowing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
It's
like
we make it easy for them to bash us anyhow.
Because we just not taking care of business.
Just not being what we're supposed to
And
be.
I think that's the reason why, like if you look at it, if I look at it and break it down with everybody male-wise that I'm around,
Mm-hmm.
if they got kids, for the most part, I know their kids, and I know how they run with their children.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are married, so they run a whole household. Some of them, maybe in one of those complicated situations. Then there's some guys that just they single dads and they're handling their business. But
Right.
I couldn't fathom myself hanging around somebody I know got kids won't take care of.
Right.
That's just
Right.
we ain't gonna jail, bro. That ain't gonna work for me.
Yeah.
And I tell you the truth, I might not be the best dad out there, but my kids also know, I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
I'm gonna figure out something, but I ain't gonna just not listen to you or ignore you completely like you're not there.
Yeah.
But there's so much more in it besides taking care of your children. It's about teaching. And that's teaching everybody around you. Don't be a gatekeeper. Don't hold on to information to see somebody else fail. Show somebody what you got going on. Those type of things. And when I used to see it, as far as my dad and how he related to the other dads in the neighborhood, like I say, their thing was if they wasn't fishing together, it was Saturday morning. They had a little burn barrel. Everybody bring their trash. They burn the trash, and they all talking about what's going on in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Such and such had an issue. They was about problem solving, not pointing fingers type thing. So that's where you pick up so much of that from, and then when I would go to my grandmother's house, my uncles, like I say, you learn everything from those males that are around you. So I learned, how just to, I ain't gonna say, I guess it's more like, I ain't gonna say associate with females, but just learn how to treat them so they always feel comfortable. You hear what I'm saying? So that's the main thing. I mean, when you growing up, as a young male, you're gonna make mistakes.
Yeah.
You might be listening to somebody's album and think you can go out there and talk to a woman like that. It don't work.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But there's a certain thing in there that teaches you, hey, this is how you speak to a young lady. The whole pull out the seat, opening the doors, and all that. It just becomes part of who you are. So a lot of that stuff just is natural, but it's like you said earlier, we just got to the point where we don't, some of us don't even want to do the basic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then get mad when somebody else does it. You hear what I'm saying? You seeing women out here who pumping their own gas with a man in the car. I'm tripping over that. This dude, I know he ain't nothing wrong with his legs or his hands. He just chilling. Cause he ain't got no means, so the debit card hers. You get what I'm saying? Now imagine you being in the car with a female, she catch a flat and she gotta call her dad.
Well, I mean, it's not transferred. It's not transferred down. Like, and I'm gonna tell you something too. Something that affected masculinity like that is the health of the men. See, poor health has hit us the last 20, 25 years especially. It's more pertinent now, but the last 20, 25 years, our health has declined as men. Dying earlier, all this kind of stuff has been going on with us. And like, it's hard to stand in an authority, in a strength position, in a protective position, when you don't even know if you can. If you don't even know where your health is, you don't even know where your strength is, where your stamina is. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know any of those things, you're not going to be that protector, because you're going to be trying to really guard yourself, because you know you can't be out front. You know, so I just looked at a bunch of different variables that kept us from being in the position and being the men we used to be. Because like what you was talking about earlier, I was thinking of our presence is better than perfection as a parent. Because see, you don't have to be a perfect parent, but you need to be present.
Right.
See what I'm saying? See, if you're present, that's working. That's just like you didn't know your job, your first day, first week, first month, whatever, however long you were there. You stayed on the job to learn the position. So the same thing with us as men, stay on the job and you'll learn the position. But see, when we want to bounce out because we done seen something, we done seen a little something. She tug. You understand?
Yeah.
So we've seen that. Now, well, our attention's over there. But see, it's like, as an old lady, she's older. I ain't gonna just call her old. She's not like 90 or nothing. But she's older than me. But she used to say, "Rock steady."
Rock steady.
That was her phrase. Rock steady.
Right.
I mean, and it made so much sense. I used to look at it like, why you keep saying that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But then I actually stopped for a second and thought about it. I was like, you know what? If you rock steady, you ain't got to worry about nothing. Because see, rocking steady is, I'm steady as an individual. You know, my character is steady. My thoughts are steady. My day-to-day is steady.
Yes, sir.
My relationship with my family is steady. Yeah, everybody will have their bad fallouts. It's going to happen because you're learning each other as you're growing and evolving. So there is no blueprint. There is no book. There's no script.
Nope.
Stop trying to find one because it's not one.
Right.
All it is that what you clock in to do is what you're going to learn. So if you're not there to go through the bumps and the bruises, no, you're not going to even learn your job. So then you'll have a person relying on you for something that you can't give.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's what, man, look at, that's what so many young men are going through right now, is that there are men around them, they just ain't goddamn thing to say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They don't have anything to do with these young men off with. It's a lot of young people that want to listen. We always quick to say, man, they don't want to hear. They don't want to hear. Young boy don't want to listen. It's not that. It's the fact that if you ain't got nothing to say, they don't want to listen to you for it.
Right. But on top of that, they done watched that same cat that's trying to talk to them do what they currently doing. Nothing.
Right.
Now, how you 60-year-olds ain't done nothing? How you 60-year-old and the only shelter you got is because your mama got the shelter. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Blue, you ain't nothing.
you know what I mean? Like, for real.
That's
It's
real.
like, it's like how I'm gonna come to a young cat and tell him about getting up and making this and that happen. I ain't tried it. I ain't done it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
And it's funny you say that, because that is exactly how we train our kids on being entrepreneur minded. And it kind of, one or two grasp the concept. You know, and my daughter's really grasping the concept. I guess 'cause she's still in the nest, so she's really grabbing the concept of the entrepreneur thing. But see, until I became one, I couldn't speak on the benefits of being one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Until my wife became one, we couldn't speak on the benefits of being one until it was those days where when the school called any type of emergency, you know, well, I can get there. Or if there's been a change and somebody needs staff school, might be a meeting program, something, anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's fine. Go ahead and stay. I'll get you when it's over. But when you're like set in a job, it's harder. So you have just boundaries. You have certain times that you can move, certain times you can't move unless you have flexible people on your job, you know what I mean, that want to just be like, hey man, I know you're a good dad, go on do what your son. That kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? But that's just rare.
Right.
But it's like, that's like you're saying, you can't do something in front of someone and expect them not to mimic what you did. Especially if you're a person.
Kids.
Exactly.
Because they sponge you,
You are a person of influence.
They mop up everything, and just when you think they not listening to you,
hear everything.
But they'll come back and tell you everything you said.
Hear everything.
You know, so
Yeah.
you know, you know, and I kind of trace back for a second because I was watching something last week, and the guy was talking about Anthony Mackie, which is the black guy that does the new Captain America. And when he was on an interview, and he was saying that he raised his boys to be me. You know, about, you know, yes ma'am, no ma'am, opening the doors, you know, making sure your family's straight. He was saying at the time, you know, when he get ready to go shoot, you know, he was telling his 15-year-old, look, hey man, you the man of the house. And then he got criticized for that because he's trying to raise young men. You get what I'm saying? And people was going at him about, you know, whatever, you know, choices the kids have. Well, I mean, kids, you in some way, you may have choices. But like your man say, you're under my roof.
Good evening.
So your choices are exactly. So yeah. But it comes off to some folks as, you know, he in a sense being a bully. You know, and I was just reading the comments. I'm like, no, we gotta get back to where we not only teaching these kids, young men, but we showing them, man, this is how you go about it. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But now it's called, if you do that, it's called toxic.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. Because it's against this wet, watered down, garbage society we're dealing with. When it's against that, you are.
You know, and I'm like, here's a man that's raising men to be men. And I know everybody's got into this, you know, you can choose to be whatever you want to be and all that. Hey, that's your thing, that's fine. But like the man said, those are his boys. And that's what he chooses to do. So how you mad at that?
So
Like I said, bro, I get it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But it's like,
it's crazy.
it's like it doesn't make any sense. Like you can't keep watering us down to make us to the point we're gonna be so weak that there's nothing we're gonna do that's gonna be effective to fight back at all.
Yeah, we're close to that point now.
You know, so it's like, if I'm raising a male, then, you know, I had to go through it with my own son. Hey, look, man, I know you don't think I got anything to tell you in a sense, but here's what's going on. And then later on, you know, now he comes to me now, you know, a graduate of school and then got out. And he asks more questions now than he did as he was coming up.
Right.
Because it's about, okay, now that's what Dad was talking about. So now that I'm here, how did you do this? Or, you know what I mean? And I enjoy having those conversations, you know, but it's like, not only just how we mold how we mold our men, our young men, is how we have to really be there at that masculine figure for our daughters too. Because usually, you know, that's your daughter is gonna date you. Right. Her first idea of what man is gonna be like is gonna come from you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you know, you look around and you have to learn how to be that stern pops, because you don't want her out here with these young knuckleheads. But at the same time, when she's going through something, you have to have enough care in her to hug her and, you know, make sure she's okay. And sometimes they don't get it because they don't understand we used to be young men too. So we know how that brain operates.
Yeah.
You know, especially when they thinking with the wrong head.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So now they might not understand it, but we do.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, you have to. It's a balance in there.
It's built over time too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You have to start that young with them, with daughters especially.
And luckily for me, I had her first. So the more and more, you know, even before me and Amy got married, you know, that was my riding partner every day because they used to go pick up from school. You know what I mean? That type of deal. And so, you know, we had that bond. And it didn't really get strange or anything until she got to middle school. So because it's a whole...
All bets are off at middle school though.
Yeah, it's a whole different ball game when they get to middle school, bro.
They don't get in my
So it was like
17.
But at 6 through 8, man, that's probably the roughest 3 years. But then, you know, she gets me now, and then I get her because, like I say, in past videos, people heard me say, you know, my kids know they got something going on. They gonna most likely talk to their mama first.
Oh yeah.
You know, and then I'm gonna come along.
Oh yeah.
And you know, I've learned to kind of dial back my opinions and really just listen first, and then
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that I realize that.
I did too. Cause we'll put it down now.
Yeah, you're gonna take, but you're right.
Yeah,
we go tear it down. Then you be like,
what?
Then you gotta think about it though. You go back and be like, you know, that was like taking an atom bomb to kill an ant. It was just too much.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And then, so you learn to dial back. You're in a boat. You know, you're in a boat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you listening now.
Right.
So you had to put your dad ears on.
Yeah.
And I think that falls into a big part of masculinity. You know, so it's just, you know, I can say, I really wanted to throw this topic out here today because I think it's under attack.
It's been under attack. Yes, sir.
You know, it's and what people don't understand is I ain't knocking nobody else. Do you? But you don't have to tell me that I shouldn't have those type of opinions because they don't align with what you got going on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna say not only to my own sons, but really any males I got a whole football team full of males.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to them all. Hey man, I know the mom and daddy can be standing right here. But if I feel like you out of bounds, I'm gonna check you in front of them.
Right.
Because that ain't how we operate.
I've done that as a coach.
You get what I'm saying? That just ain't how we operate.
Yeah.
You know, so you gotta.
That's real.
You got to, in a sense, like I say, you learn, and I think that's part of that man coming out of all of us, or you know what I'm saying, that we learn and we adjust.
Yeah.
None of us really just stay that hardcore person from birth to death. You're gonna have some kind of leeway in there, because you're gonna die early anyway.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Swole off stress.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and And that's just like me being around my granddaughter. It's different than when I was around her mama. You get what I'm saying? And she know that's just Papa. Let him go about his business, he gonna be all right. You know what I mean? But that's it for me. You know, we just gotta get back into where you just gotta let men be men. You know, you can't downplay us. You know what we got to add to it, and then ask why we ain't around.
Yeah.
If you do anything to anybody, if you keep telling them they ain't this, they ain't that, you da 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 da, you know what I'm saying? Just that constant berating about everything that they not, they gonna tend not to show up.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And that's what all of this is turn onto. It ain't nothing that you can go on to now that it ain't somebody berating a man about something. You get what I'm saying? We ain't perfect.
Yeah.
We knew we wasn't perfect. You get what I'm saying? But you got to really break it down to the people who are actually trying in this world to make it better every day. I ain't perfect. You ain't perfect. Nobody we deal with is perfect. You get what I'm saying? But we also know the cats who make it their job to be a menace. That ain't my job.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I don't take it up. You get what I'm saying? You know, so my job is to, you know, if I got the knowledge, I'm gonna share it. If I see your kid going out of bounds and you not standing there, I'm gonna do my best to correct it. You know, that's what we gotta get back to. Else we gonna lose.
Man, you know,
We gonna lose several generations.
People don't want you talking to their kids.
Oh yeah.
You know how they.
Oh yeah, I know how it goes,
Get
but
attitudes on stupid stuff. Really.
I know how it goes, but at the same time,
you keeping this kid kill themselves or being in a situation that could kill them, or something that could just get them in trouble, something that could hit their mind wrong, something that could just really damage them.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's funny you said that. I had a player, you know, at one time, and we were at a game, and she smarted off at her mom, bad. And we had just gotten off the bus, bad. And the dad was there. He ain't saying nothing. So you know my antennas is up. You know I'm on it. Like,
right.
I said, hey, come here. What'd you just say to your mom? Go fix it. Go fix it, or you'll be sick.
Right.
See, I dealt on character. That's why I really feel like that's why I had a lot of good teams, because we dealt on character.
Right.
I can't just let you act any kind of way and then you gonna jump on the court. See, that's a mistake, and I've made it before. But learning and knowing when you have the opportunity to fix something,
Right.
it's different if you pursue it. If you pursue it, you're wrong, because that means you're trying to be a parent to somebody that should be. So, but when you're presented with the opportunity, that's the moment when you make your character known. But it's when you present it with it. You don't pursue a kid waiting on him to mess up. See, that's what I'm talking about, man. What I'll tell you that about right there, because you be on that bug. You know what I'm saying? You basically chased them.
Yeah.
To get some bulls out. Yeah, you was waiting on the fall. Everybody gonna do it.
Right.
So it's like when your opportunity, I call it divine timing. Whenever it's meant for you to pour into another person, you will be given the time, the place, the opportunity to do it correctly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we'll just have to take our time and do it correctly when we're given the opportunity.
Right.
Because some people just think that they're because they haven't written a book, because they haven't appeared anywhere or spoken anywhere or done anything, that their thoughts and stuff aren't enriching to like the kids around them, or it doesn't mean anything to the generation below them. But it's like, understand something. Don't never belittle yourself to the point where you don't think you have anything to give.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of soft-spoken people have a lot of jewels and nuggets that they drop back to back. You know what I mean? Because they don't waste words.
Right.
So just don't downplay a person because they're not saying a lot. because sometimes they're waiting to see whether it's even worth speaking on.
Yeah.
First of all,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I definitely
That's
understand.
old school there as well. But I wanted to drop this little. I looked up that toxic masculinity you was talking about. There was an interesting definition of toxic. It says relating to or being an asset that has lost so much value that it cannot be sold on the market. Now, look at how hard men are being bashed. And I'll specifically say black men being bashed.
Oh yeah.
I'll say that over others because of the positioning, but I know it happens a lot to everybody, but we're talking about our community especially because we're extreme on things. You know, if you'll just get a car, we're gonna get a car, Rams 10. We're extreme with our stuff. We're not gonna just get an outfit, we're gonna get an outfit, jersey, shoes, hat, get a stand, maybe some glasses. Cause we're extreme with what we do. Anything that we do to the max. We gotta be the sharpest, toughest thing moving. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, on the other end of the spectrum, man, the level of toxicness, man, I love this definition because it's saying that it's making your value go down so that you're not able to be sold in the market. To me, reading the definition only meant it diminishes your value in the household so that you're no longer able to be what you need to be in the house. You're already bashed on your job. Every man deals with something on his job. I don't care if it's major, minor. Every man deals with something on his job because there's always a constant, there's a constant pushback. You know what I mean? So it's like when you come home, which is what's supposed to be your place of peace and that rebuilds you, when none of that takes place at home, well, you're diminishing. You're getting smaller and smaller.
Yep.
Smaller and smaller.
And that's
You know, quiet, smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
Smaller and smaller. And then before you know it, oh, you're not a husband anymore, you're not a father anymore, you're not a brother anymore, you're not a nephew anymore, you're not a cousin anymore. Why? You're just there.
just a being.
You're just existing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You lose when it's hard, man. We don't even have grace on each other. We need to have more grace on each other. When a brother loses his position in his family, man, that's serious, man. That's real. That's heavy. For those that care, it's heavy.
Yeah.
Everyone doesn't care about family, so I get it.
And it'll break you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll break you.
Break you off, now. I'm telling you. But it's a lot of men walking around broken right now, trying to take on whole projects and responsibilities. See, we're broken.
You can't build nothing broken.
I'm telling you, we out here jumping in them, but see, that's why I hate to hear people say there ain't no good men, ain't no good women. I hate to hear people say that. It's not that. It's not the goodness of the person. It's the quality. Have they been healed? Everybody been through something.
Yeah.
Big or small. You've been through something that's still in your mind. So are you healed from it, or are you not?
And if you're not, take the time.
And stay to yourself.
Right.
And stop spreading that shit, passing it to everybody.
Passing it to
I hate
everybody.
that because you know what I'm saying. Because
Right.
you ever been around some people that's arguing and you and your girl wasn't arguing, but when by the time y'all leave, y'all arguing. That's that ugly job. Stop transferring that bad energy like that, man. We don't need that. Right. Everybody want to be grown then. Take care of your mental health. First of all.
Ooh, man, this mental health.
Man, it's hell raising up kids, man. It's hard. Man, it's hard to raise kids now. You gotta have your mind right. Or you'll mess around and do something stupid. You end up on the news and you like, damn, I snapped. I didn't even see it coming.
Yeah.
Cause you know those are,
you have to learn that if you ain't healed, man, it take all the time you need.
Yeah.
Because if not, what you gonna end up doing is bleeding on the people who did not cut you.
Yeah.
You hear what I'm saying? And that is horrible. You know, and I can attest. You get what I'm saying? I can attest. You done seen it. You get what I'm saying? Like, there was a point, man, every every time me and you talk, it was the same conversation. It was the same exact conversation.
Yeah.
And now you can't even get that conversation out of me.
Nah, ain't heard it in a while.
It's gonna be a long one.
That's how I know you dealt with it. But that's the
you,
thing, man.
You got to do that.
That's
and
right.
If you don't, son, it will eat you alive.
One nugget, man, for the men. Stop being so proud that brothers can't talk to you. Stop doing that, man. Stop putting the walls up against folks.
Don't be so proud.
You.
Not ask for help, man.
Man, talk to your brothers, man. It's brothers like us. We're not the only ones that you can chop it up with, man. You ain't got to get into the details of your business, But you can, guess what? Find a mindset out of what they're saying. Grab your mindset out of it. See, that's the problem. Stop going and approaching each other looking for what's wrong. We got to start looking at each other and find out what's right. What is alike instead of what's different. We got to approach each other different, man. Because when you approach with that kind of energy, they're going to raise their energy too. You can't expect them to do anything different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's sad because, man, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to let men in on one thing. I don't know if you know this. If you do, that's great. But if you don't, get your ears up. Because when strong men enter the room, it changes the energy level in the room.
Yes,
now, a weak-minded person is going to look for a deficiency in that joker. But see, a strong-minded person is going to want to congratulate that brother for having that type of energy coming in the room. Number one, I'm not jealous of you. Number two, I'm glad I'm not the only one with the strength. Number three, it's good to see. Because it's not enough of us. It's good to see when a brother come in and the whole atmosphere change. Well, that thing great, man, because guess what? I'm an energy changer too.
Right.
You're an energy changer. So it's like when you understand each other, you can stop the hate.
Right.
You quit all, you know what I'm saying?
You can stop coming at them, man.
Coming in, because that's really what a lot of that is, man. We're already damaged in certain areas that we haven't addressed, especially for our mental health. We just really haven't addressed them. It's not that it makes us, like we need to go and live in the mental health building. No, it's just the fact that we need to develop better thoughts and better ways to deal with the stuff that's not going to go anywhere in our life. Some things and problems, they're there, and we know it.
Right.
But we'll try our best not to even deal with them. But in all actuality, we have to learn how to cope. Learn how to deal with this thing. Break that thing down. You know what I mean? And get on top of it. So that way, when the things in your life that are going to bring you prosperity, when those things that you've been trying to do start to finally come together, you won't blow it by having that mindset that you supposedly had already gotten rid of.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Because you'll blow it.
But you go firsthand. Because the thing is, you so wrapped up in all of that. So just imagine like a bubble.
Mm-hmm.
You got all this going on right here. And the blessings trying to come this way, and all that this bubble doing is just blocking them. It's just pushing them off. You can't accept nothing because you so bound up. And I tell you like this. It's like being constipated. You backed up so much, you can't get no relief.
That's tough.
You get what I'm saying?
Line full, boss. That's tough.
But as soon as
it's tough.
That forgiveness or that hate, whatever you got, that animosity you got in there, is as soon as that's your last. As soon as that last come through, you can flow again. I know that's kind of crazy, but you gotta get all that shit out your life, man. Yeah. And then once you get it over there, you realize, okay, that event or the people or that person, whatever, that's them. Let that person go about their business, and you get yours going over here. And if you don't mind what they got going on, you don't ask, you don't go see, you don't do nothing. You handle your stuff, and then you gonna start to see. And it's gonna be in little small increments. Them blessings, they gonna be like this. But you ain't gonna realize that you just went to the doctor today. They thought you had cancer, but you clean. That's that little nigga. Boy, look at here. You thought you had X amount to pay off. Boy, look at here. But that's less than you thought. Matter of fact, that's almost at zero. That little negative. It happens like that.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? And you got to be able to accept it. But you can't accept none of that when you full.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You full of the everything that hurts you. Okay, let's let it go.
There you go.
I let it go. And because if you don't, like I say, you're not gonna get any better.
No.
So
Yeah. You get
even though that was a derivative of where we started from,
Oh, yeah.
it was much necessary.
Yeah.
Man,
I've never heard a definition of toxic.
but it makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
never heard it put that way. Like it really diminishes your value.
Right.
And
I think that's the reason why so many people have got on the train of bashing men. It's just people wake up every morning and you see 900 memes, 1,000 memes a day of somebody bashing men. So if you keep telling us that we ain't shit, guess what? We'll show you.
Yeah.
You be like, okay, I ain't shit. But why you was on there on the side with that flat tire roll right past your ass? You get what I'm saying? That's just what it is. You got a child on your hip, one on your back, you trying to carry groceries. I could have opened the door for you, but we ain't shit. So get it done the best way you can. You know what I mean? I seen you struggling. I seen you at the rent office trying to, talk to the lady about not putting you out. I had the money in my pocket, but we ain't shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's deep, man.
We got to get out of the bullshit.
Yeah.
And it ain't.
And it's both sides.
It's both sides.
Because both sides are supposed to help each other.
But that thing, man, it's like, it's crazy, man. I'm gonna leave that for another episode. But in a sense, we just gonna have to do better, man. We just gotta do better with the way we communicate, going with each other.
Yeah, we expect too much and don't want to give anything.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I ain't never understood that.
Yeah, we do. We really, it's almost like a kid. A kid is never going to be satisfied with what you buy them, because there's always going to be something else that they would want. So the list will be endless. Same thing gets to be with us amongst each other. There's never an end to what I feel like you owe me. There's never an end. There's never a comfort place that I can say, you know what, I'm good.
Yeah,
You did it, I'm good. No, it's always, it's all right, but I would have liked. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So now, what you did was, see, now this is the sneaky part of it all. You took on the mindset of another culture. That's why your culture is not receiving you. See, if we go back to the old rules of how we as black people need to function, we'll function better together. Because back in the day, we understood we needed each other. Now we think that's an option. But see, then it was mandatory. See what I'm saying? We got away from the mandatory. See, that I see why the old heads was talking about how splitting up, doing all this blending, all this other stuff, watered down our community and broke our ties. I see why. Because that was how we were divided. I'm just saying. But like I said, another podcast. But the catch to this masculinity thing is, I mean, like, if you look at masculinity, I was telling the cat, think back to the 80s when CK1 came out and these different things, these trends that were coming from Europe. Boy George, Culture Club, I'm talking about during that time. You know what I'm saying? Look at all the trends that came from Europe. All those things were going against what the United States had said a man was. See, that went from Willie Nelson being out here showing you understand, being different country cats. Way back in the day, it was just, they did man stuff. I know it may not be what we should be doing, but at that time, men did certain stuff. You know what I'm saying? At least in front of you. You know what I mean? On TV or music, whatever the case. They did certain stuff. But see, when you started seeing the trends come in, so like, the reason why I mentioned CK1 is because it was for men and women. Same fragrance. For men and women. See, then I was talking about the European trades because those trends came in with them daggone pocketbooks, the clothing changed, the hair changed, the everything changed, man. It went to where it was okay to cross that line. See, we have to see how we traded in our culture for a popular one. Because it was a lot of people doing it. So, but just because a lot of people are doing it, does that make it the thing for you to do? That's my question for people. Like, I get it that it's popular. I get it that everybody's doing this, that. I get it. I really do. But do you get it? Do you understand what that really means and what it really does to your psyche? Because there's going to be a time where you're going to have to be a man. And guess what? If you're not ready, you're going to fail miserably. Now, who knows what that'll do to you? That's another part of the toxic, masculinity, like a side effect. A side effect is bad thoughts towards yourself as a man. Diminishing yourself each and every day that you don't reach this goal, don't achieve this thing, don't see things this way. Damn, what were they talking about, man? I still can't even understand. Diminishing yourself. See, other people don't have to do it once the seed is planted in you. You know what I'm saying?
You'll do it to yourself.
You'll do it to yourself, and then but see, like we said earlier in the show though, kids hear everything. They record everything. If I could say one thing that's unfair about being a parent, is that we don't get rehearsals. I think that's probably the only unfair thing about being a parent is that you do not get rehearsals. Every single thing that you do is live.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially when you made it your business to be that authority figure in your house. So guess what? I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I could drive up to the crib, Paul, hear all kind of noise. By the time I get to that porch, I don't hear nothing. Why? Boss came. Time tighten up, because he ain't gonna be in a lot of game. I don't know.
Him outside.
Dude, you hear me? I'm talking like, I don't know what kind of mechanism it is that women have. It's like, it's crazy. I really envy y'all a little bit. But they can like have World War III behind them, and they're just maintaining with the business at hand, and it's going down, because we come in the
same thing.
It's crazy.
We come in, we might have to say a little something, but they can give kids that look, and they done.
Yeah,
they be like, bye.
Because she the friend in the house. If you ain't never know, if you go wrong against mama in the house, hey, you messed up, and you're in a bad spot, because dad, he on one line. He don't do all, mom will deviate. She'll bounce through some shit with you. She'll go through stuff, you be like, man, yeah, ma, boom, boom, boom. I was going to tell Dad, but I know how you felt about that last time. So, mom has that, she's the closest to being a friend out of the parents. I'm going to say that. Because we don't have it in us, especially as we get older. Men get real hungry. Just sorry, we do. We get the bull job. Our patience is less. More stuff aggravates us that has never aggravated us before. So it's like we don't have that variance. We don't have that wide road to accept all your mess. Nah, I need you to ride in this lane right here. I gave you this lane right here. Okay, because I'm gonna be in this one. Now, if you bump my car, I'm gonna bust your head. That's the bottom line. So we function a little different. You know what I'm saying? But it's good though, because truthfully, if you line this up at home, it's like the mother. But when you leave your home and go out to this world, you're facing the man, because this world does not care anything about you. This world runs a certain way. It functions a certain way. You'll either get ran over, chewed up, whatever the case may be, if you can't keep up. So it's kind of like how old school men were. They ain't even talk to folk back in the day. You know, they just worked, came around, everybody did what they did for them, and they were true. Hung out with their people, did whatever they do, went on about their business. But now it's so like we have more roles as a dad than they did. If you think about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? You may work shorter hours than your wife. So you may spend more hours talking to the kids, dealing with their homework, dealing with what went on in school, who said something silly to me, am I really short that? I mean, you know what I'm saying? All of these different things that come, you're dealing with that because you got off early. Mama might not get off at 7 or 8. By the time mama get off, you done already dealt with their problems and you got them in the tub.
Yeah.
Or in the shower, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Getting ready to
Right.
prepare for bed, you've already fed them different things. So like I say, it's more roles now than it was then. So men have to have stronger minds now than you had to have before. Most things were ordered. It was protocol before. Now, boy, it's out there. And you have to grab a hold to it and keep things steady as best you can. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, like topics like this is the things that men need to talk about. Shout out to the guys that come to S&J Salon, man, and chop it up with me. Because a lot of my men, man, we talks it up. And I appreciate y'all, man. Trusting me with, you know what I'm saying, with those subjects. Yeah. And being able to, you know, really receive that thing, man. And that's like, that's real empowering to me. So I appreciate all the fellas I do chop it up with, man. I really appreciate you all trusting me with the information that you use a lot of times. And you know, it's one of those things where you eat the meat, throw away the bones, I guess that's what they say. Something like that they say. But you take what you need from what a person, you know, gives you. You don't use everything everybody.
You don't have to.
Tell, you know, you don't.
Everything might not apply to you.
Right, you know.
But it's something that you can take away.
Man, change that thing, twerk that thing a little bit. Just go on,
Yeah.
let me tweak this a little
Tweak it.
bit. Let me see.
I think that's
Turn that roster around.
that's just not with manhood. That's parenting 101. You got to tweak it because you realize that your kids not all the same.
No,
you
they're
can't
not.
deal with them the same.
No, they're not.
So you know that's one part of it. But I think as men, you know, you have to learn. Your growth is dependent on you adapting and changing with the times. There ain't got to be no I want to say radical change. It just, you know, you're gonna learn in time that you're gonna have to make tweaks to what you got going on.
More of a shift.
Right.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, actually, it helps you just get better.
Yeah.
Because if you stay, you know, rigid, I'm gonna be this tough guy all the time, this so bent up, you probably gonna die early.
Yeah.
Heart attack, something, stroke.
Yeah.
Yeah, you done.
Yeah.
And,
aneurysms, all that stuff.
all that
in us,
shit.
man. So
Heck of a thing. And all that, the one thing that we got to do, man, take your ass to the doctor.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know
Both of them.
I'm tough. I'm going nowhere unless my arm get cut off.
Hey,
Okay.
Man,
Don't.
let me tell you like this here. Go lay on somebody's couch before you lay on the cot.
Yeah.
Like real talk. They give the cots out in prison. Don't go grab a cot when you could have grabbed a couch and just talk about that thing before you really allowed yourself to get pushed over that limit. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to go to the couch, you feel some type of way, whoever's good in your life, if you ain't got nobody good in your life, hit the messenger. I'll talk to you.
Right.
What I'm saying is we got to get more positive words in our ears.
Hit
And then stuff
the
come out.
text. Hit the text. Give me a call.
It'll come out.
I'd rather listen to your problems than read your story
Right.
in the newspaper.
It's too much of that, man. We're just seeing that too much. But yeah, we got to just learn to, you know, be more accountable for each other Even when you don't know brothers,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you got to remember, those are still your brothers and sisters. Just because you may not personally know them, don't do that. Don't close that off. You know, that's helping to divide us and really allow us to be conquered in a lot of areas of our life right now, because we're not together. But you can't stop us when we get together. So we need to kind of bear those things in mind and come together in the right ways. Start talking to each other more as men. Start influencing each other more in areas of our lives, man. Like, for real, start being something good that a person can hear and not being that negative. We got enough of that. We can turn TV on to be and find all the negative
turn
we
the
need.
TV on no more.
Right.
Man,
Pick
it's
your
on
phone.
the radio,
Yeah.
it's everywhere, man. It's sad,
Yeah.
you know.
Need no help in that area.
Nah.
So
We got enough of that.
yeah, just you know, try
But it's
to.
game. It's and like I say, when you hit us up on any one of the platforms that we on,
Yeah.
you know our numbers directly. You know, it ain't no problem for me to talk to a cat. You know, I like to say, I rather listen to you and we figure out something
Yeah,
than it go bad. You know,
yeah,
may not have all the answers. You know what I'm saying? Might not have an answer at all. Maybe sometimes you need to shut up and let a person talk.
yeah.
And
Just
that's
hear 'em.
all they need is
Just hear them out.
just
yeah.
hear them out, and then once they get it off of them, hey, they tend to do better. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, sometimes that's the avenue too.
Yeah.
So, but man, I really enjoyed jumping out here on this Monday and
Oh yeah, definitely.
and really feeling our new surroundings. You know, we 5 months in over here, and man, it feels good.
Yeah.
You know, and we just trying to grow, and we just want y'all to keep growing with us.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of energy, more than people realize. Even try to put together a small show, but we got bigger things coming, and we want y'all all to be a part of it. We will continue to jump out here and do our community events, and you'll see us out later on this summer. You know, jumping out with the trailer and feeding folks. There's just a lot of stuff coming that's necessary. To keep this thing going, and the shirts were, nice little addition. You'll be able to order you one pretty soon if you feel like supporting us. And we're just gonna keep this thing moving, man. Got anything else for him, Jay?
No, just do me one favor. Just as a man, just say this one thing, and I'm done. I don't want to be the cause of another brother not making it, and I'm gonna leave it right there. Take care of each other.
Sound advice. Well, take care of each other, and we'll see you guys later on this week.
Oh yeah.
We got we're gonna have a funny and very enlightening episode come Saturday.
Yeah.
Like I say, I always say this might be the one to get us banned. This probably gonna be the one to get us, banned for life.
Or you're gonna love us.
Right, one of the other. You know what I mean?
Hey.
So we'll see you guys later on this week. Have a good one.
Take care. Peace.